We have three minds.
Now, two students, let's say, have the same degree and same AI tools, same resources, but end up with completely different outcomes.
Anyone who is starting out his career in this age of AI, they need to just not be happy with the solution. Don't be happy story about a quota student who has been,
Hello everyone, welcome to Mind Over Mess. This is your host Shiva with you, and today we are joined by a very special guest of ours, Shubhneet Goel. Welcome to the show, Shubhneet. How are you doing today?
sure, and
That's great to know. Now let me introduce a little bit more about him. He's currently a director of technology and co-founder of InboxAlly, and he is having decades of experience. And today we will be diving deeper into his journey, as well as some of the questions that you must be thinking of and how can they help you reshape your lives. To meet, will you please introduce a bit more about yourself to our audience and also about your journey, how you started and how things started working for you?
definitely, like you said, my name is Shubhneet. I have been in tech for about 20 years now, and I started in year 2007, and my first venture was at ACITF and started in 2010. I worked in that. I served over 200 clients, starting some of the clients were Indian Air Force, TRD to Airtel, Lava, and I was serving them. And yes, that's where I learned that how important and critical coding can be. And from past 7 years, I have been working at InboxAlly as a co-founder and a director of technology, a company based out of New York. And that's where I'm currently dealing with AI services, AI-based email deliverability solutions.
Can you tell us more about InboxAlly, what it is and how it functions and how it is helpful?
Definitely, I can dive deeper into InboxAlly. So at InboxAlly, we have this solution where we work with companies on email deliverability. We have customers who send promotional or transactional emails, about millions of emails per day. And those customers, those emails, when they land into promotions or spam, that's where they need our assistance so that those emails get delivered into the inbox. And that's where our expertise in email deliverability, that how different configurations work. And then we have a huge infrastructure in which we are able to train email providers like Gmail, Yahoo, and Microsoft, so that more of the emails can get delivered into the inbox instead of promotions or spam. That's where our work revolves around. Mostly of my work revolves around the tech and tech development and dealing with all the different protocols and compliances related to email and email deliverability.
One of my friends was actually a vibe hacker. So he do hacking, but currently he's using all the vibe methods. And he was also mentioning about this issue of like he's unable to do things that, AI is so dumb that he used to say nowadays, AI is so dumb, I can do that manually. And I was like, yeah. And that reminds me of like the students right now in college and how they are dealing with their problems. So right now, two students, let's say, have the same degree and same AI tools, same resources, but end up with completely different outcomes. They use Cloud8, ChatGPT. Let's say I also do the same. So what creates that gap according to your experience? What do you think about that? And how can they solve it?
Oh, that's very important. That's a very important question. And that's the one thing I have literally spent days and weeks into that to figure this out, because on previously it was the kind of tools and the kind of information I had another person had. So working for 20 years and doing coding every day, all of a sudden the Anthropic launches a model Opus 4.5, and you wake up with that model, and that can do the same coding as you can. So someone but the thing that goes behind that coding or behind that vibe hacking or hacking or development is the brain and the intelligence. It can only be the cloud, Anthropic, or any other model or any other AI tool can be as smart as you are. You have to ask the right question. You have to follow the right framework to get the things done. So just having a superficial knowledge about anything is not. So just to give, you would have already analyzed it, that any LLM tool is as smart as the question that you ask it. So if you're asking a vague question, it is going to give you vague answer. So if you're going to give it vague requirements, it is going to create a vague tool. So you have to give it a very detailed. You have to first. So now, let's say, what is the difference between what I do and what others might do? So they or someone and just entering into software development, what they would just create a to. Let's create a to-do app. But there are a lot of specification that has to go into it. So there's a lot of planning that you can use AI to do the planning, but that planning has to be done first. You can also there are beautiful libraries out there. Spec IT is one of them. So you need to see and plan. And anyone who is starting out his career in this age of AI, they need to just don't be happy with the solution. Don't be happy with when the app is built. Go through the actual process, that what AI did, what all steps AI followed, what agentic AI did, what kind of code it has written. So you don't have to write the code, but you need to read through, at least skim through and understand the whole process. So you're not fully dependent on, or you are not fully blind what AI has done on the hindsight.
being aware as well while using tools, that they're just tools, they do not have their real intelligence. And if we just remove the way some people think about AGI, if they're not thinking in that terms, then we can think that they are just tools, and they have to take the maximum output from it. But mostly people deal with like they are another human that side of the screen and that are still solving their problem and not generating another word. So that's a kind of misconception I see here, near me. So, coming to the work you have done, I want to ask more like you have spent years building that or how to automate the work, especially. So, but now you're focused on how humans should think in an AI driven world, we can say. So, when did you start noticing about human decision making that made you shift your attention here, if you can?
Yeah, definitely, definitely. Thanks for asking that. So I have this life coach, Shubhneet, and so we have been speaking for more than 4 5 years now. So we and I have teamed up with her on the book as well. We are coming up with the book, The Third Mind, and with AI, so it has been more important. So when obviously we have been thinking about human awareness, so mostly I have been thinking on this. So we whenever like in every day we spend most of the time in a auto mode where we don't even think about our day to day. What are we doing? So what are we like we are so used to of doing things in a certain way that we don't even use our brain to do that. And that's where AI shines. AI is great at recognizing patterns. AI is great at what you are doing mindlessly. AI does not have its own brain. So we use this analogy, Darpan and Diya, so that like AI is good at reflecting, but AI is not good at eliminating. So the human brain is great at both. Obviously you have this mechanical, so we have this analogy, mechanical mind, emotional mind, and the aware mind. And this is going to be more important in my opinion going forward, that you become more aware, because the repetitive job, there is someone, the AI can take it easily. Like the one thing that you can keep on doing again and again without using mind, that has to be delegated to AI, because AI is way smarter to in doing, way more efficient in doing repetitive tasks. But AI cannot think out of the box. So going forward, it will be more important to be more aware. AI cannot feel. AI can tell something that this is. AI can tell that okay, fire is hot, and but it cannot feel it. AI cannot, like the heat or what is hot, we can feel that hotness, but AI can't. AI can just say that in a word. AI can say that okay, I love my daughter, I love my son, but love in itself is comes from a feeling which AI would never feel it. It is just a word for it, right? Those things are something to be felt and expressed. We have to be more empathetic, because somewhere in the process, in past few years or few decades, we have been more mechanical. Like what is the output, what is the efficient, what how much work you have done yesterday, lines of code. So that's how we used to measure it. You work for 8 hours, you wrote these lines of code, how many lines of code you have written, how much work you have done. You have to sit 8 hours in the office, you have to. But now all of a sudden AI comes into the picture and can write maybe thousands of lines or 10,000 lines of code overnight. So that cannot be measured going forward. So the whole, as in my understanding, everything has to change. And in terms of the measurement of the efficiency, it has to be more productivity driven and efficiency driven, instead of just measuring the effort, that how many hours you have spent on the work. So, and going back to your question, so yes, I have been thinking about it, but that thought has changed, or the speed of that thinking has increased multifold after Anthropic released its Opus 4.5. So in December and January, so that changed everything, that how I was thinking. Because honestly, when I came across ChatGPT a couple of years back, it was still something work in progress. But Opus changed everything overnight. It is literally a very smart, reflective mirror and pattern copying machine.
That's a very thought provoking way of presenting. I never compared this way, like AI could be, eliminating, and as well as it could be like a mirror to people. So it's something really thought provoking. I will be captioning that. So, coming back to something that I would like to share to the audience. So, currently, as Shubneet mentioned earlier, he's working on a book called The Third Mind. And I want to ask something related to that. So, if you're working on The Third Mind, exploring how humans evolved alongside AI. So, if you had to compress that idea into, one shift, like students must take, immediately. So, what changes and how they think or operate? How, what can you tell about that to especially the students who are listening this? Mostly our audience is students, so that's good.
Right. So I have this. Thanks. So we had this story about a quota student who has been, mugging the information and was using it to pass the papers or to pass examinations. That can be done very easily in the age of AI. So now AI can, you can ask any questions and it will answer it way better than any topper that I know of. But so for the students who are preparing in this age, they just don't have to just just mug the or just learn the response or answers. They need to understand, they need to go a layer deeper. So you need to ask critically. Let's say you ask something, you're preparing for something, and you ask, AI has given certain answer, but you need to go a layer deeper, that why AI has given this answer. So if AI has prepared a solution for you, you need to go layer down, that why. You need to understand the reason behind it. If you don't go down, if you don't dig in deeper, if you're just going to be happy with the superficial answer that AI is giving you, you will be very restrictive in terms of the growth that you can do, because everyone is going to have access to these AI tools, is already having access to, and some of them who does not will have access to in coming months, and mostly in a year's time. So the biggest challenge now would be to become, because everything can be replaced, most of the things can be replaced with the AI. So to become non irreplaceable, you need to dig down and go deeper. So in our book, what we have written, so just to summarize, we in our book we have this the third mind. We have three minds. That's what we have tried to break it down into psychologically. One is the mechanical mind, that is mostly pattern driven, that patterns we have adopted to in past many years, or take or developed in past many years, which AI is definitely going to influence and replace most of them. And the second is the emotional mind, the way we feel, or the way we act on, or we act on, are based on the feelings. And the third, the most important one, is the aware mind. We need to understand every day, the one thing we need to understand every day, and mark it down, that what we have done today in an autopilot manner, and what we should not we should improve upon. So that is one thing for the students, and they should adopt every day, that what is one thing that we are doing every day on autopilot mode. What we are just not like, we have to come out of this autopilot mode. We just have to stop, and we have to go layer deep, that if I'm doing something, if my teacher has taught me something, if AI has given certain answer, then I need to understand why. We just don't take it for just take that response for granted and move on. If you won't go deeper, because if something has been built, in the AI can tell you that, but something that has not been built and can be done. So you have done something. If someone has ran a race, and it in 8 miles, and that was something that the global consent was that no one can run a mile in less than 8 minutes. Then that thought that it can be crossed after, it can be done within 8 7 minutes or 6 minutes, cannot be given by AI. AI is restrictive with that information, that okay, this can be done, this has been done, and this is the way it has to be done. But to think out of the box, your imagination has to be developed. You have to think
Yeah.
out of the box. So all those things has to be done.
So I'll just keep this advice with me, and now every student should understand, and you may just apply that in life to realize that will that actually work, and I think it will, because I will try myself, and I will let you know definitely. So thank you so much for your time, and as we are running out of time, so thank you so much
Yes.
once again. Thank you to our audience, and once again next week we'll be bringing another super guest for you, and stay tuned for that. Bye.
Thank you.